There comes a moment in every life when the excuses you've been repeating for years suddenly sound hollow. A moment when you look at your habits, your patterns, your results, and realize they no longer match the story you tell about yourself. Samurai understood this moment well. Miyamoto Musashi wrote that a warrior must study the way in all things, because the world outside is never the true battlefield. The battlefield is the space inside you where intention fights distraction and discipline challenges comfort. This story follows Aiden Hale, a man whose life looked fast and full from the outside, yet thin and disconnected beneath the surface. He didn't lack ambition, he didn't lack intelligence. What he lacked was clarity, and clarity always begins with earth. Earth, seeing what is, without illusion. Aiden always thought of himself as disciplined. He kept journals of goals, he marked up calendars, he highlighted books on strategy and productivity. But beneath the appearance of control, his days broke apart into scattered impulses and unfinished intentions. Musashi warns in the Earth Book, a warrior must know reality exactly as it is. No distortion, no projection, no comforting lies. One evening, after another day of busyness that produced nothing memorable, Aiden made a decision. He would document every minute of the next day. No commentary, no judgment, just observation. The next day revealed the truth. 5 hours lost to scrolling. 90 minutes drifting between tasks. Repeated context switching that shattered focus. 2 hours of genuine work, and 8 hours of movement that created nothing of value. The shock was immediate. His exhaustion wasn't the weight of effort. It was the strain of constant distraction. Earth demands the courage to face the mirror without filters. Musashi retreated into caves not to celebrate his mastery, but to dissect his weaknesses. Aiden understood now, without honest measurement, discipline is only a costume. His illusion cracked, but the destruction of illusion isn't transformation. It simply opens the door to it. Transformation requires the adaptability of water. Water, adaptation over force. When Aiden saw his data, his first reaction was dramatic. He tried to become a new person overnight. He built a flawless schedule, waking at 4 a.m., intense workouts, strict nutrition, long hours of deep work, meditation, reading, absolute structure. It collapsed before noon, not because he lacked strength, but because he fought reality with fantasy. Musashi wrote in the Water Book that water adapts to the container it enters. It does not break against obstacles. It flows around them and continues forward. So Aiden rebuilt his discipline like water. He shrank his expectations until failure became unlikely. Instead of waking 2 hours earlier, he woke 15 minutes earlier. Instead of exhausting workouts, he performed one simple set of push-ups. Instead of aiming at 8 hours of deep work, he committed to 20 focused minutes. Small, manageable, almost trivial. But after 1 week, something powerful emerged. He had accumulated more than 100 push-ups through tiny sets. He had logged almost 3 hours of genuine focus, and he had not broken the routine once. Water wins not through intensity, but through persistence. It erodes stone by touching it again and again. These small victories reshaped Aiden's self-image. He was no longer someone who quit. He was someone who kept moving. When the habits grew comfortable, he expanded them. 15 minutes earlier became 30. 1 set became 2. 20 minutes of focus became 35. By week 4, Aiden woke early without effort. He trained 45 minutes a day. He produced meaningful work for hours instead of minutes. He was flowing, not forcing. But where water brings movement, fire brings danger and opportunity. Fire, turning emotion into a weapon. Progress created a new, unexpected problem. Aiden began comparing himself to others. A co-worker who seemed endlessly productive. A runner finishing marathons while he struggled with short workouts. An entrepreneur younger than him surpassing goals he hadn't even approached. Comparison ignited frustration. Frustration led to shame. Shame led to hesitation. He missed a workout, then another. The slide began quietly, exactly as it does for most people. Fire has two possible outcomes. It consumes or it purifies. Musashi turned personal anger and loss into relentless training. He never wasted emotion. He redirected it. Aiden learned to do the same through a simple nightly ritual. Each night he wrote down one sentence for each thing he disliked about his day. I reached for my phone during work. I quit early on my workout. I gave in to distraction. Then he turned each sentence into a directive for tomorrow. Phone in another room. One more set. One more block of deep work. This wasn't about positivity. It wasn't about forgiving himself. It was about using emotion as fuel. Anger became architecture. Frustration became instruction. Fire became momentum. Within a week, he reversed the decline. Within 2 weeks, he surpassed his previous best. Not through motivation, but through precise, directed energy. But fire carries a hidden danger. Success forged by fire can inflate the ego, and ego weakens discipline more effectively than any external enemy. Wind, staying a student while winning. By the 3rd month, Aiden was nearly unrecognizable. He rose early without alarms. He trained daily without resistance. He completed deep work with sharp consistency. His posture changed. His energy changed. People around him noticed. And then he heard a quiet whisper from within. You've mastered this. You can ease up now. This whisper is the wind at its most dangerous. Not destructive like fire, not rigid like earth, but subtle, comfortable, persuasive. Aiden stopped tracking, stopped planning, trusted instinct. He decayed instantly. 1 missed workout became 3. 4 hours of focus shrank to 1. His early rising slipped later and later. Wind warns us about the enemy called a rival. Musashi studied rival schools not out of arrogance but humility. He knew that the moment you believe you are finished, your blade dulls. So Aiden created a wind practice. Every month, choose someone whose discipline makes his look small. Study them deeply. Let their excellence humble him. Let humility sharpen him again. Mastery is not a stable state. It is a balance that must be maintained. Beginners suffer from inaction. Intermediates suffer from inconsistency. Advanced practitioners suffer from pride. Wind keeps pride from taking root, and without pride, growth remains possible. But even humility does not solve the core truth. The way has no finish line. Void, when discipline becomes identity. 6 months into his transformation, Aiden faced his hardest realization. He would never be done. He would rise early for the rest of his life. He would track himself forever. He would battle distraction forever. He would shape and reshape himself forever. The realization crushed him at first. When does this become easy? He asked. The void answers with brutal clarity. It doesn't. You become someone who carries difficulty effortlessly. The void is the space where resistance dissolves, where the struggle becomes ordinary, where discipline is no longer something you perform, but something you are. Musashi painted daily. He studied calligraphy. He crafted weapons. He trained relentlessly, not to reach an end, but to inhabit a way of being. Aiden finally understood. The routine wasn't preparation for life, it was life. The early rising wasn't a challenge, it was his anchor. The tracking wasn't a burden, it was clarity. The daily battles weren't obstacles, they were the way. When he embraced this truth, everything changed. He stopped negotiating with himself. He stopped looking for finish lines. He stopped resisting the endlessness. He simply lived the practice. Discipline became breath. He didn't force it. He didn't celebrate it. He didn't explain it. He just did it. And with that, the eternal struggle became natural. The 5 rings as a living practice. Earth clears illusions. Water builds motion. Fire converts emotion. Wind maintains humility. Void makes discipline permanent. Aiden no longer sought ease. He sought direction. He measured progress by one metric. Did I advance today? One more rep. One more moment of honesty. One more block of focus. One less unnecessary distraction. Not dramatic, but decisive. The rings are not ideas from an ancient world. They are a map for this one. A blueprint for anyone willing to face themselves fully. And now the question remains, which battle will you choose today?